Welcome to No Nonsense Nonprofits. Hi, I'm Sandy Ray, founder of Sandra E. Ray CPA, where we alleviate financial headaches so that you can create a bigger impact. Today, I'm so happy that Dave Ketterer is back with us. He is the president of CD's IT Consulting, which he started in 1994. And as president, Dave manages a team that works with small businesses, trade associations, not-for-profits, and helps them with all of their technology issues and solving their problems. Hey, Dave, congratulations on your 20-year anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but I guess it has.
Okay, we're talking about artificial intelligence and policies that nonprofits should establish. So I just wanted to get one really important question to me, like out of the way. There's a lot of ethical considerations that go along with artificial intelligence. Could you explain what those are and the ones that nonprofits really need to be concerned about?
I guess there's several things that you have to consider when you're doing this ethically, but probably the main ones are you have to make sure that whatever AI tool you end up using, it's fair and it's unbiased in the results you're going to get. You need to make sure there's transparency on what that you're actually using AI to produce information or look up information for you. And then whoever is the person that who's like the champion of the AI, there has to be some accountability in fact of what you're doing with the AI. Then obviously you have to be concerned about privacy, make sure the AI is not pulling out information that should be pulling out that's private information. And then that sort of goes along with security. You got to make sure you got it set up securely so it's not getting into stuff it shouldn't be getting into, or it's not leaving a gateway for the outside bad guys to get into your stuff as well. And it needs to be reliable. And in the end, you still have to have a human take a look at it. You can't just trust the AI to produce whatever you want and then assume it's all right. You still have to have a person actually review it to make sure it jives with what you're wanting to produce out by using the AI.
But it's a good first draft kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good way to save you a lot of time, depending on what you're wanting to use it for. But yeah, it's a definitely great way to save you a lot of time and doing a lot of some of the research and then doing a first draft where you don't have to do all that typing and all that research. You can do it all that for you in a very fast manner.
Wonderful. That's saving time is always important.
Yeah, it is.
So, how can nonprofits develop an effective AI policy to protect their sensitive data?
There probably is two policies that they probably really need. As a baseline is like a acceptable use policy that would apply to all technology, not just AIs. That's sort of like the overarching umbrella type policy that you would need. And then you need to have a specific policy on AI, what you're going to use it for, and all the things that you want to put around it. And there's several, if you do a search on Google, there's several places that would be able to offer you templates that you can start with as a baseline and then go from there to tailor it to what you as an organization want to have for your AI policy and as well as your acceptable use policy.
Okay. I wonder if you could use AI to come up with the AI policy.
You probably can.
So, what are the risks? We've talked about the security of data and things. So, we obviously have some risks. So, what are the risks associated with using AI and what do we specifically need to address in our policies?
Yeah, some of the risks you can have is if you, depending on how you set it up, you want to make sure that you only give AI access to the data that you want it to access. You don't want to just have it let free reign on every single folder and file that you have saved for your organization because there's a high likelihood that there's some private information that does not to be included in any results that AI is going to produce for you for your organization. Then you also need to make sure, at least from a security standpoint, that it's tight. It's not accessible to anybody outside your organization or even people within the organization that shouldn't have access to it. You have to control that as far as making sure, because you want to only have people using it that have been trained on how to use the AI. or have some sort of knowledge on it, because they could be asking it questions or doing querying for stuff that is going to be inappropriate for the organization, and you don't want that kind of information getting out.
Okay, that's important. So what are some practical steps that we can start taking in exploring AI and getting comfortable with it?
Probably the first thing would be see if you can find some sort of tutorial to actually help you define. I mean, let's get more knowledgeable on what AI can do, because there's a lot of AI tools out there in the marketplace, not just OpenAI and Copilot from Microsoft, and I can't remember what Google's is called. I mean, those are the big three, but there are lots of other smaller type AIs that are probably more customized, not maybe necessarily customized, but more narrowly focused on what their usage is. So you want to find the right one that's going to fit. You got to define what you're actually wanting to use it for, first of all. And then once you figure out, okay, we want to use it for marketing, or we want to use it for research. And then from that point on, then go out and look for the AI tool that's going to best fit your needs and is in the price range that's affordable to you, because you're probably going to get the best results from the AI that you're paying for versus a free one. Because the free one, typically the free ones, at least from an open AI standpoint, it's not looking at their most recent version, so it doesn't have as much data in its data engine when you're looking up trying to query for to get information. So it may not be 100% accurate based on current data, because it could have changed from the time they compiled all that information. And you
So,
also got, oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, so there's some very specific industry specific AI products out there that you can pay for.
Yes, there are, because actually, back to our common client, Adisa, they had a person there doing a session, and she had showed all kinds of different AI tools that I didn't even know existed out there that could do really cool things based on what the needs were for your organization.
So yeah, and that common client is a trade association. So,
Yes.
and they're very niche specific as far as what industry they're in. So it's a very complicated and regulated one, which AI would be very helpful with that.
Right.
My next question is, you talked a little bit about privacy. Obviously, that's a section in the policy that we want to make sure that we cover. So what role does data privacy play in the implementation of using AI in our organizations?
And it all boils down to what you're going to allow AI to access within your environment, because you can't control what you give it access to actually to learn stuff. I'm not talking like public AI type stuff where it's just combing the internet for whatever. I'm talking about AI that's specifically looking at your information within your organization to build whatever you're looking for it to do. You need to control what areas of your organization it has access to, and make sure those areas do not have any private or personally identifiable information that could be damaging to the organization as well as to the person that it is linked to.
So like I could share a spreadsheet or something and say, analyze this, and it would come up with some trends and some talking points and things like that. But
Right.
I want to be careful not to share client data or anything like that, that it doesn't
Right,
have.
or like payroll reports, you wouldn't want to have it analyze that. Or if you actually are doing that, you need to have it only produce that information to be shared with you as the payroll person, and not be able to something that's publicly shared to the entire organization, because obviously that would be a major problem.
Okay. And that's something that comes generally with the paid
Yeah,
products.
with paid products, you're going to have more control over that, what security you can set up of who can access what areas of the product have access to what parts of your organization's data.
Okay. And from my understanding, even the paid products are not that expensive.
No, I don't think they are. They're very affordable. Like Microsoft Copilot. Actually, I just had a couple of clients that have asked for this. It's for a single user, it's $360 for the entire year to use
Wow,
Copilot. So
that's
it's
good.
not super expensive. So if you have one person in your organization that is interested in doing this, and you give them some training and figure out how to use it, then for $360 a year, they can have Copilot analyze whatever data that they've got in their Microsoft 365 tenant.
Yeah. And the math in my brain, that's like 10 hours a year of time savings. That's easily doable.
Right. Yeah. You can easily justify that by the time savings you're going to have by using it.
Wonderful. And then one of the last questions I wanted to ask is, what advice do you have for nonprofits? I think you hit on it a little bit. When we're just getting started and exploring with AI, what are like the first steps that we should be taking?
And probably even before you do the policy, it's probably figuring out what you actually want to use it for. That's probably your biggest goal is, okay, what do we actually want to use AI for? And then what is our goal in using AI? Those are probably the main two things you need to do to start out with. And then once you figure those things out, then you can develop your policies around that and then start going out and researching tools that are the AI tools that are out there that are going to best fit what you want to do with it within your organization. Then once you get all that figured out, and then you can then start, I would say slowly start implementing and not just have it go gung-ho and go guns blazing in and go for everything all at once. Just start in small sections, and then as you get figure it out how to use it best, then expand it into all the areas that the goals that you set up that you want to do with the AI that you bring into the organization.
Okay. And then to wrap up, would you say is the biggest takeaway from our conversation today?
I mean, AI is a great tool if it's used the right way. Obviously, it still has some growth. It's not a be all end all at this point. It's not like when you're watching Star Trek, you can tell the computer to do this and it's going to do exactly that. We're not anywhere near that sophisticated yet with AI. We're just basically at the base level of being able to use AI and actually get it to use it effectively within the organization. So it's got room to grow. So that's like I said earlier, you still got to have a human look at it after the results are produced to make sure that they're actually valid and make sense before you actually then publish that or share that with anybody else in your organization.
I think that's wonderful advice. And I just want to clarify, Dave is my IT consultant as well, in addition to having a few shared clients. If you're interested in asking Dave some questions or maybe having him help you, he can be reached at his website at cdsitconsulting.com. If you have any questions on this or other topics, let us know in the comments and we will be happy to respond. Of course, we always appreciate your likes, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Remember, creating a bigger impact starts with stopping the nonsense. If you're dealing with nonsense in your nonprofit organization, we'd love to help you cut through the noise.